That's Paul Neal from Penn Productions. Let's take a look around the robot rig and just to see how to use it. Have your modifier panel open. You'll notice that it updates really quickly because the attribute holder is on top, just stopping it from displaying anything that's unnecessary for modifiers that don't have any controls on them. We have the root control down at the bottom, which should move the entire character. And we have the foot controls that allow us to be able to control the feet and be able to rotate the feet. As well, you'll notice that everything's automated. The flaps around the feet are automated, pushing out of the way and whatnot. The knees are also automated. If you pull the leg too far, it'll stretch itself down so that those knee flaps are nice and they're automated, pushing down out of the way and look kind of cool. I've also, as I just noticed, some things are still showing. I have the rig broken down into 3 layers. If you hide the rig, you won't see any of the bones or parts sort of sticking out of it. Then all the control objects and all the mesh objects. To control the foot roll and whatnot, there's a single control object, and it is designed to try and make it easy. Slide it forward and backwards, and you'll kind of have a stepping action. Slide it up and down, it'll roll onto the toe. You can grab both at once and kind of go through a full stepping motion if you like. Pushing it side to side, it'll roll up onto the sides, and then rolling it around, it'll also then sort of roll at the same time and roll onto the toes and whatnot. Um, then rotating it, we have the toe up and down. We have it, rotate on the heel, and then we also have it rotate on the toe using the rotation control. So that can kind of be handy to get some action going in there, but it's all in one spot. Knee control is created by this target out front, and it has the ability to have a lock on either the foot or the hip. So by default, it's locked to the foot. So when the foot rotates, it's rotating the knee control as well. Turn that lock off, and now it'll stay locked on the hip, and it'll no longer have an effect on where the knee's pointed. So you can pick and choose where you want that within your animation. There's also a control up on the hip joint, which allows you to be able to rotate the control. Now it'll rotate the hip, and depending on the angles of it, it'll allow you to be able to rotate that around. But what's more useful is the fact that you can move it and move that joint around to wherever you like. So I've left the rotation unlocked, but it may not do an enormous amount depending on what you're trying to do. Hip joints in position and scale, so you can grab it and move it, and everything works accordingly. If you grab it and rotate it, same thing. Everything's functioning. So I guess you could call this like a spline IK spine without the spline IK spine because it's simply unnecessary. So the upper one, same thing, rotates and then position as well as the master waist control to be able to move the entire upper body. When you grab the chest control, the torso, there are multiple controls on here. We have thrusters that fire, and show. So these will glow up. There we go. I was taking my video card a bit of time because it's mighty slow. But those will glow up while you're when they come out. And if you have bloom on the viewport, they'll bloom, and it opens in multiple stages. So you can go part way, and it just opens the jet, and then it starts to fire the jet for the second half. That also goes for the back as well for the jets. They can open and close. Um, and the top lights go up and down. These don't turn on any lights. They just open the light piece at the top. For some reason, my video card is just ground to a halt. I don't know why, but you can see it opening at the top. I'm just going to put it on high quality and get rid of the extra settings I have. but you can see the lights going on the top. And then there's this crazy spine ripple thing for some reason on the back that ripples this spine thing for just the fun of it. The arms have multiple controls, so there is sort of an extra joint here that you can move, you can rotate. We'll call it loosely a clavicle, I guess, as it is. Now the arms are IKFK. If we scroll them down, we're now into IK mode, and we have a typical IK setup, with the hands or the arms with the targets out behind. I should note everything is been reset. So if you use Alt right click transform to 0, it will reset your controls for you to get back to the starting points. So they'll reset. And so the hands are actually a two-part system. Looks like I'm missing one. And I wonder if, yes, it's in the wrong spot. So the hands have two sets of controls. There are sort of an extra set of joints for some reason in the fingers. They seem to have this extra joint here, by the way. So that's what these are here. But you can animate the hands with a single control if you want, through a few different poses, just to make it real easy to kind of manipulate the hands and get them doing something interesting without having to work too hard on them if they're not important. It works in all the position values, so from side to side, up and down is splay, and then sort of a grab. Front to back is a fist, and an open and out. And again, you can use combinations of those. There is no rotation on them, however. I didn't hook up anything for the rotation values. Move up to the head. The head is just a typical setup, with the ability to rotate, and it also stretches as well. That's about it. There's already lights for that turn on. So deleting the lights in the scene, don't delete the 3 that are on the character, or else you'll have to manually handle those yourself. But they automatically turn on when they're open. So when the thruster opens, you can see it automatically turns on a light and initializes the light so you can see it. Rig looks pretty straightforward. It is pretty basic bone rig. There are hundreds of point helpers in the scene that are all turned off. Their display properties, so that you don't have to look at them. Even if you do unhide them, they don't actually exist in the scene. Their display properties are disabled. To get at those, I have tool sets where I have the ability to show them all, so I can show all the point helpers. So there's all the point helpers that are being utilized to rig the character. I have them set with specific properties on, and this tool allows me to be able to turn off all the properties, but remember which properties to turn back on again, if you decide that you need to see them. The character is color coded red and green because it's the only international color coding of left and right that I know of, or port and starboard. So that's the color I've been using for who knows how long, probably 30 years. People always ask me, why is it red and green? Well, there you go, that's why. I utilize to build this my custom sets of tools. I have hundreds of them, everywhere from just sort of these random helper tool sets to renaming tool sets that allows me to be able to rename things en masse based on classes of objects with a broken down 4-part naming convention. It names everything with L and R's and C for center. I also use a lot of controller tools that I've written to be able to manage and handle all the controllers on the on rigs, so that it is far easier for me to rig complex systems without having to go in and out of things like the motion panel or whatever to get it values and everything. So it does a lot for me. I didn't use any of my custom rigging tools for this because it's got things like double joints, and the legs are this funky system where you can see there's actually multiple leg joints going on. So there's an overdriver, sort of typical two-bone leg joint, but it's driving multiple joints to be able to drive everything. And that's about it. Lots of custom tools, lots of custom ways of sort of for me to manage and work with things. Um, and again, the best thing to do then is to have your rig hidden and controls and the model visible.